Dr. Zora Vex stood at the viewport of the research ship Curiosity, her 4 eyes wide with excitement. The vastness of space stretched before her, but it was the cluster of objects floating in the distance that held her attention. After years of searching, they had finally found something truly ancient. "Captain Krell, bring us closer," she called out, her tentacles twitching with anticipation. The ship's engines hummed as they approached the mysterious objects. As they drew near, Zora could make out the shapes more clearly. They were ships, old, battered, and clearly built for space travel. "By the stars," whispered her assistant, Glix, his antennae quivering. "How old do you think they are, Doctor?" Zora's fingers danced over the console, initiating deep scans of the derelict fleet. Initial readings suggest thousands of years, maybe even tens of thousands. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They were looking at a piece of galactic history. As the scans continued, more details emerged. The ships were a mix of sizes, from small fighters to massive carriers. Their designs were unfamiliar, not matching any known species' architectural style. "Look at the hull composition," Glix pointed out. "It's primitive. These ships wouldn't stand a chance against modern weapons." Zora nodded, her excitement dimming slightly. "You're right. The technology seems far behind our current standards, but still, a find this old is significant." Over the next few days, the research team worked tirelessly to document every aspect of the ancient fleet. They took countless images, ran every scan imaginable, and even sent out drones to collect samples from the ship's exteriors. As the data poured in, a picture began to form, one that left the scientists scratching their heads. "It doesn't make sense," Zora muttered, poring over the results in the ship's lab. "The materials are basic, yes, but the engineering, there's something off about it." Glix leaned over her shoulder, his compound eyes reflecting the holographic displays. "What do you mean, Doctor?" Zora pulled up a 3D model of one of the larger ships. "Look at the internal structure. It's over-engineered, as if it was designed to withstand forces far greater than it should need to." But as they dug deeper, they found more questions than answers. The power systems were offline, making it impossible to determine their true capabilities. And strangest of all, there were no signs of the species that had built the fleet. No bodies, no personal artifacts, nothing to indicate who had once crewed these massive vessels. As their initial survey came to an end, Zara prepared to present their findings to the Galactic Scientific Council. She stood before the communication array, straightening her lab coat nervously. The holographic faces of the council members flickered into view, their varied alien features all wearing expressions of curiosity. Dr. Vex, the council chair, a wise old Zorlak, spoke first. "We've reviewed your preliminary report. Please, tell us more about this discovery of yours." Zara took a deep breath and began. "Honored council members, what we found is a fleet of ancient starships, unlike anything in our historical records. They appear to be thousands of years old, predating many of our civilizations." She proceeded to outline their findings, showing images and data as she spoke. The council listened intently, asking occasional questions. But as Zara explained the seemingly primitive nature of the technology, she noticed the council members' interest beginning to wane. "While the age of the fleet is certainly remarkable," one member interjected, "it seems these vessels hold little practical value. They're relics, nothing more." Zora felt a flicker of frustration. "With all due respect, there's more to this discovery. The design of these ships, there are inconsistencies we can't explain. I believe further study could yield important insights." The council exchanged glances. The chair spoke again, his tone kind but dismissive. "Dr. Vex, we appreciate your enthusiasm. However, our resources are limited. We cannot justify an extended mission for what appears to be, as my colleague said, mere relics." Zora wanted to argue further, but she knew it was useless. The council had made up their minds. As the communication ended, Zara slumped in her chair. Glix placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "What now, Doctor?" he asked softly. Zara looked up, a determined glint in her eyes. "We continue our work, Glix. The Council may not see it, but I know there's more to this fleet than meets the eye, and I intend to prove it." Little did Zara know, her persistence would soon uncover secrets that would shake the very foundations of galactic society. The laughter and dismissal of her peers would soon turn to awe and fear as the true nature of the ancient fleet revealed itself. Dr. Zara Vex couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something important about the ancient fleet. Despite the Galactic Scientific Council's dismissal, she had convinced Captain Krell to remain in the area for a few more days of study. On the third day after the Council's decision, Zara was in her lab, poring over the data for the 100th time. Her assistant, Glix, burst into the room, his antennae twitching excitedly. "Doctor, you need to see this," he exclaimed, waving a data pad. Zara took the pad, her 4 eyes widening as she read. "Are you sure about these readings, Glix?" The young researcher nodded vigorously. "I've triple-checked them. There's definitely some kind of energy signature coming from the fleet. It's faint, but it's there." This was impossible. All their previous scans had shown the ships to be completely dormant. Zara rushed to the main science station on the bridge, Glix hot on her heels. "Captain Krell," she called out as she entered, "we need to run a full spectrum analysis on the fleet immediately." The captain, a grizzled veteran of space exploration, raised an eyebrow but gave the order. Soon, the ship's powerful sensors were focused entirely on the ancient vessels. As the data streamed in, Zora's excitement grew. The energy readings were like nothing she had ever seen before. They defied known laws of physics, fluctuating in patterns that seemed almost alive. "What do you make of this, Doctor?" Captain Krell asked, peering at the readouts. Zara shook her head, her tentacles curling in confusion. "I'm not sure, Captain, but one thing's clear. These ships are far from dead. There's something going on here that we don't understand." Over the next few days, Zara and her team worked tirelessly to unravel the mystery. They discovered that the energy signatures were strongest around what appeared to be the engine cores of the larger ships. But every attempt to penetrate the hulls with their scans was met with failure. It was as if the ships were actively resisting their efforts. Zara decided to take a risk. She prepared a report on their findings and sent it to the Galactic Scientific Council, hoping the new data would change their minds. The response was swift and harsh. The Council accused her of fabricating data to prolong her research grant. They demanded she return to Galactic Central immediately to account for her actions. Devastated but undeterred, Zora called a meeting with her team. "I know what the Council thinks," she told them, her voice firm. "But we all know what we've discovered here is real. I'm going to continue this research, with or without official support. I won't force any of you to risk your careers, but I'd welcome any who choose to stay." To her surprise and gratitude, every member of her team chose to remain. Even Captain Krell, after a moment's hesitation, agreed to continue the mission unofficially. As they resumed their work with renewed determination, strange events began to occur. Equipment malfunctioned in inexplicable ways. Crew members reported odd dreams of vast, starlit spaces and humming machines. And then, on a quiet shift when most of the crew was asleep, it happened. Glix, monitoring the sensors, let out a startled yelp that echoed through the ship. Zara rushed to his station, her heart's pounding. "What is it, Glix?" The young researcher pointed at his screen with a shaking hand. "The ships, Doctor. They're moving." Zara stared in disbelief at the display. The ancient fleet, dormant for thousands of years, was coming to life before their eyes. Lights flickered on across the massive hulls, and the ships began to shift in formation. "Captain," Zara shouted, "we need tow." Her words were cut off as a blinding light engulfed their ship. For a moment, Zara felt as if she was everywhere and nowhere at once. Images flashed through her mind. Strange, bite-built creatures working on complex machines, vast cities among the stars, battles of unimaginable scale. And through it all, a sense of immense age, of patience, of waiting. When the light faded, Zara found herself on the floor of the bridge, her crew sprawled around her. As they shakily got to their feet, a collective gasp went up. The viewport showed not the ancient, battered fleet they had been studying, but a vast armada of sleek, powerful ships. They gleamed in the starlight, humming with energy that made the very fabric of space quiver. On the main screen, a message appeared in an ancient script that slowly transformed into modern galactic standard. Thank you for awakening us. We have waited long for beings worthy of our legacy. Now let us show you what humanity achieved at the height of its power. Zara stood in awe, realizing that their discovery was about to change the galaxy forever. The laughter of her peers echoed in her mind, but now it was overshadowed by a new emotion. Wonder at the marvels that lay ahead, and the ancient human civilization that had created them. The bridge of the research ship Curiosity was silent as the crew stared at the message on the screen. Dr. Zara Vex read it again, her 4 eyes wide with disbelief. Humanity, she whispered. But that's impossible. Humans are just a myth. Captain Krell shook his head, his scales rustling. Myths don't build fleets, Doctor. Whatever these beings are, they're real, and they're awake. As if in response to his words, the massive ships around them began to move. Their movements were graceful, defying their enormous size. Lights pulsed along their hulls in complex patterns. Suddenly, a new message appeared on the screen. We invite you aboard. Do not be afraid. Zara and Krell exchanged glances. This was far beyond anything they had expected when they first discovered the ancient fleet. It could be dangerous, Krell warned. Zara nodded, her tentacles curling with a mix of fear and excitement. It could also be the greatest discovery in galactic history. We have to go. After some debate, a small team was assembled. Zara, Krell, Glix, and 2 security officers prepared to board a shuttle. As they approached the largest ship of the fleet, a hangar door smoothly opened, inviting them in. The shuttle landed softly in a vast bay. As they stepped out, the team gasped in awe. The hangar was enormous, easily holding ships 10 times the size of their shuttle. Strange machines lined the walls, humming with energy. Welcome, explorers, a voice echoed around them. It was warm and friendly, with an accent none of them had ever heard before. A hologram flickered to life in front of them. It showed a bipedal being, tall and straight-backed, with 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. It wore a uniform unlike anything they had seen before. I am the AI custodian of this fleet, the hologram said. You may call me Adam. Zara stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. We're honored to meet you, Adam. I'm Dr. Zara Vex. We have so many questions. Adam smiled. And we have much to share. Please, follow me. As they walked through the ship, Adam explained the history of humanity. They learned of a civilization that had spread across the stars, building wonders and facing challenges beyond imagination. But why did you disappear? Glix asked. Why let the galaxy forget you? Adam's expression turned sad. We faced a threat unlike any other, a force that consumed entire galaxies. To fight it, we had to evolve beyond our physical forms. They entered a vast chamber filled with swirling lights and pulsing energy. In the center was a structure that looked like a throne. This is the Nexus, Adam said. From here, humanity ascended to a higher plane of existence. They left this fleet behind as a safeguard, waiting for the day when the galaxy would need its protection again. Zara's mind reeled at the implications. And you think that time is now? Before Adam could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. Screens lit up, showing a massive fleet of ships entering the system. It appears the decision has been made for us, Adam said grimly. The Devourers have returned. Captain Krell stepped forward, his military training kicking in. Who are the Devourers? The threat humanity sacrificed everything to stop. Adam replied. They consumed civilizations, stripped planets bare, and used the energy to expand further. We fought them to a standstill, but could not defeat them entirely. The screen showed the approaching fleet. Their ships were dark, almost invisible against the backdrop of space. They moved with unnatural speed and precision. "What can we do?" Zara asked, fear evident in her voice. Adam's hologram turned to her, its eyes filled with determination. "We fight. This fleet may be ancient, but its technology is far beyond anything in the current galaxy. With your help, we can protect your worlds." Zara looked at her team. They were scientists, explorers, not warriors. But as she saw the resolve in their eyes, she knew they had no choice. "We'll help however we can," she said firmly. Adam nodded. "Then let us begin. The legacy of humanity awakens, not just to teach, but to protect." The Devourers thought they had won, but they're about to face the full might of human ingenuity once again. As the ancient fleet powered up around them, Zara felt a mix of terror and exhilaration. They had sought knowledge and found a war, but with the combined strength of the past and the present, they had a chance to save the future. The battle for the galaxy was about to begin. As the ancient human fleet prepared for battle, Dr. Zara Vex and her team raced to understand the advanced technology surrounding them. Adam, the AI custodian, guided them through the massive flagship. "Your assistance will be crucial," Adam explained as they entered a vast control room. "The fleet's systems are designed to work with human minds, but we can adapt them to your species." Zara's tentacles twitched nervously as she approached a control panel. "What do you need us to do?" "Each of you will help manage different aspects of the fleet," Adam said. "Dr. Vex, your scientific knowledge makes you ideal for weapons control. Captain Krell, your experience will be valuable in fleet movements." As Adam assigned roles to each team member, the AI's hologram flickered, showing signs of strain. Glix noticed this and asked, "Adam, are you all right?" The AI's image stabilized. "My systems are stretched. Awakening the fleet after so long has been challenging, but there's no time to worry about that now. The Devourers are almost upon us." Outside, the dark ships of the Devourer fleet loomed closer. Their shapes seemed to bend light around them, making them hard to focus on. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. "They're launching their first attack," Adam announced. The view screens lit up with streaks of energy as the Devourers fired. The human fleet's shields flared to life, absorbing the impact. "Incredible," Captain Krell muttered. "Those hits would have destroyed any modern ship." Zara found herself at the weapons console. Strange symbols flowed across the screen, but somehow she understood them. "Adam, I'm reading multiple weapon systems. Which should we use?" "Trust your instincts, Dr. Vex," Adam replied. "The ship will respond to your thoughts." Taking a deep breath, Zara focused on the approaching enemy. She felt a connection forming between her mind and the ship's systems. With a thought, she activated the weapons. Beams of light, more brilliant than any star, lanced out from the human ships. Where they struck, the Devourer vessels simply ceased to exist, leaving not even debris behind. "By the cosmic core," Glix gasped. "What kind of weapons are these?" Adam's voice was grim, the kind born from facing extinction. Humanity poured all its knowledge, all its desperation, into this technology. As the battle raged, Zara and her team worked in perfect harmony with the ancient fleet. Captain Krell's strategies, combined with the advanced human tech, kept them one step ahead of the Devourers. But the enemy was relentless. For every ship they destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. The human fleet's energy reserves were draining fast. "We need reinforcements," Krell shouted over the noise of battle. "Even with this technology, we're outnumbered." Adam's hologram appeared, looking more strained than ever. "There is one option, but it's risky." "Whatever it is, we have to try," Zara insisted. Adam nodded. "Deep in the ship's core is a quantum beacon. It was designed to call back the ascended humans in times of great need, but activating it could burn out my systems entirely. The team exchanged glances. They had come to respect Adam, to see the AI as a friend, but the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. "Do it," Zara said softly. "We'll find a way to save you too." Adam's hologram smiled sadly. "It has been an honor serving with you all. May humanity's legacy protect you." With that, Adam's image disappeared. The ship shuddered, and a pulse of energy, unlike anything they had ever seen before, erupted from the core. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. The Devourers halted their attack. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. Then the fabric of space rippled. Points of light, brighter than galaxies, winked into existence around them. "What's happening?" Glix asked, his voice filled with awe. Before anyone could answer, a new presence filled the ship. It was vast, ancient, and unmistakably alive. A voice, or perhaps a million voices speaking as one, resonated through their minds. "We hear you, children of the stars. The founders have returned." As the ascended humans joined the battle, Zara realized that the true power of humanity had nothing to do with weapons or technology. It was their unwavering spirit, their willingness to evolve and sacrifice for the greater good. The tide of the battle was about to turn, and with it, the fate of the entire galaxy. The battle raged across the star system as the ascended humans joined the fray. Dr. Zara Vex and her team watched in awe as beings of pure energy danced between the stars, tearing through the Devourer fleet with ease. "It's beautiful," Glix whispered, his eyes wide as he watched the spectacle unfold on the view screens. Captain Krell nodded, but his expression remained grim. "Beautiful, yes, but look at the Devourers. They're not retreating. If anything, they're fighting harder." He was right. For every Devourer ship destroyed by the ascended humans, two more seemed to appear from the depths of space. The dark fleet was growing, feeding on the very energy being used against them. Zara's tentacles curled in frustration. "There has to be something we're missing." "Adam, can you?" She stopped, remembering that the AI had sacrificed itself to call for help. Suddenly, a familiar voice filled the bridge. "I'm still here, Dr. Vex." "Barely." "Adam." The entire team exclaimed in unison. The AI's hologram flickered into view, but it was faint, barely holding its shape. "The quantum beacon, it didn't destroy me completely, but I'm fading. I don't have much time." Zara stepped forward, her scientific mind racing. "Adam, we need to understand the Devourers. How did humanity fight them before?" Adam's image stabilized slightly as he focused. "The Devourers, they're not just a fleet. They're a singular entity, spread across countless ships. A hive mind. Like a giant space jellyfish." Glix mused, earning him odd looks from his teammates. "Not entirely inaccurate," Adam said, a hint of amusement in his weak voice. "They consume energy and matter, converting it into more of themselves. That's why they're growing stronger even as we destroy their ships." Captain Krell leaned in, his military mind working on the problem. "So how do we stop something like that? There must be a weakness." Adam nodded. "There is. The Devourers have a central core, a nexus where all their consciousness converges. Find that, destroy it, and the entire fleet will collapse." "But how do we find it?" Zara asked. "It could be anywhere in that massive fleet." The AI's hologram flickered again, growing fainter. "The ascended humans, they can sense it, but they can't reach it. The Devourers have created a void around their core, a space where energy beings can't enter." Zara's eyes widened as she realized what Adam was suggesting. "We need to go in ourselves, in this ship." "Yes," Adam confirmed. This vessel was designed for exactly this purpose, a final strike at the heart of the enemy. The team exchanged nervous glances. They had signed up for a scientific expedition, not a suicide mission into the heart of an alien threat. Captain Krell was the first to speak. "I'll do it. I've led my crew into danger before." "No," Zora said firmly. "We started this together. We'll finish it together." She looked at her team, seeing the determination in their eyes. They all nodded in agreement. Adam's hologram smiled, a look of pride on his fading face. "You truly embody the spirit that made humanity great. I wish I could go with you." Glick stepped forward, an idea forming. "Maybe you can. If we transfer what's left of your consciousness into the ship's core, you could guide us." "It's possible," Adam said. "But I would be sacrificing any chance of restoring myself fully. I would fade away completely after the mission." Zara felt tears forming in her eyes. "Adam, you've already sacrificed so much. We can't ask." "You don't have to ask," Adam interrupted. "This is my choice, my final act in service of life itself." As the ascended humans continued their desperate battle outside, Adam's consciousness merged with the ship. The ancient vessel hummed with new energy, screens lighting up with information about the Devourer fleet. "I've found the path to their core," Adam's voice echoed through the ship, now indistinguishable from the vessel itself. "Are you ready?" Zara took her place at the main control panel, her team around her. Outside, the ascended humans parted, creating a path through the chaos of battle. "We're ready," Zara said, her voice steady despite her fear. "Let's finish this." With that, the ship surged forward, plunging into the heart of the Devourer fleet. As they disappeared into the void surrounding the enemy's core, Zara couldn't help but think that the fate of the galaxy now rested in their hands. The final confrontation was about to begin. The ancient human ship, now fused with Adam's consciousness, plunged deeper into the heart of the Devourer fleet. Inside, Dr. Zara Vex and her team worked frantically at their stations, guiding the vessel through a storm of enemy fire. "Hold on," Captain Krell shouted as the ship shuddered under another impact. "We're almost through their outer defenses." Zara's tentacles flew over the control panel, adjusting the ship's energy shields. "Adam, how much further to the core?" The AI's voice, now seemed to come from everywhere at once, replied, "We're close, but the Devourers are adapting. They're trying to seal off our path." Suddenly, the view screens went dark. The ship groaned as if under immense pressure. Glix checked his readings, his antennae twitching nervously. "We've entered the void. No energy can penetrate this space." For a moment, they flew blind, guided only by Adam's calculations. Then, abruptly, they burst into a vast, empty space. In the center floated a massive, pulsating orb of dark energy, the Devourer's core. "By the cosmos," Zara breathed. "It's enormous." As they approached, tendrils of dark energy lashed out at their ship. Adam's voice strained as he fought to maintain their defenses. "I can't hold them off much longer. We need to act now." Captain Krell turned to Zora. "Doctor, you know this ship's weapons better than any of us. What's our best option?" Zora's mind raced. The weapons they had used in the space battle wouldn't work here. They needed something different, something the Devourers couldn't absorb or deflect. Suddenly, a memory flashed in her mind. Adam explaining how the humans had ascended. "The Nexus," she said aloud. "The device that helped humans evolve. Could we use it as a weapon?" "It wasn't designed for that," Adam replied hesitantly. "But, in theory, yes. It could force an evolution on the Devourer core. But the energy required would be enormous. It would destroy this ship and everything in it." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. They all understood what this meant. There would be no returning from this mission. Glix was the first to speak. "If it saves the galaxy, it's worth it. I'm in." One by one, the others nodded their agreement. Zara felt a swell of pride for her team, even as fear gripped her hearts. "Adam," she said, her voice steady despite her terror, "how do we do this?" The AI's voice was solemn. "The Nexus is tied to consciousness. It needs a mind to guide it, to show the path of evolution. One of you will need to connect directly to it. Before anyone else could volunteer, Zara stepped forward. I'll do it. I've studied more alien species than anyone else here. If anyone can guide this thing's evolution, it's me. Captain Krell put a hand on her shoulder. It's been an honor, Doctor. As the others said their goodbyes, Adam guided Zara to the Nexus chamber. The device hummed with power, tendrils of energy reaching out as if alive. Are you ready? Adam asked softly. Zara took a deep breath. No, but let's do it anyway. As she stepped into the Nexus, pain unlike anything she had ever experienced coursed through her body. But with it came knowledge. The entire history of humanity flowed into her mind. She saw their triumphs and failures, their wars and their peace. She understood now why they had built this fleet, why they had ascended. It wasn't just to fight the Devourers, but to protect all life, to give other species a chance to reach for the stars. With this understanding came clarity. Zara reached out with her mind, touching the consciousness of the Devourer core. She felt its hunger, its mindless drive to consume. But she also sensed something else, a faint echo of what it had been before, eons ago, before it had become this cosmic horror. Focusing all her will, all the knowledge humanity had given her, Zara sent a single command through the Nexus. Remember. The Devourer core pulsed, fighting against the change. But the power of the Nexus, fueled by Zora's determination and the sacrifice of her team, was too strong to resist. As consciousness faded, Zara saw the dark energy of the core begin to shift, to change. The void around them started to collapse. Her last thought, as the ship broke apart around her, was a hope that they had done enough, that the galaxy would be safe. In the space where the Devourer fleet had been, a new light began to shine. In the aftermath of the explosion, silence fell across the battlefield. The ascended humans paused in their cosmic dance, their energy forms dimming as they turned their attention to the void where the Devourer core had been. For a moment, it seemed as if all of space held its breath. Then, a pulse of light erupted from the center of the void. It expanded rapidly, washing over the remains of the Devourer fleet. Where it touched, the dark ships began to change. Their hulls softened, colors swirling across their surfaces like oil on water. On the bridge of the Galactic Council's flagship, which had arrived to support the battle, counselors from 100 species watched in awe. "What's happening?" asked the Zorlak chair, his ancient eyes wide with wonder. A junior science officer, her scales shimmering with excitement, checked her readings. "The energy signature. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. It's as if the Devourers are evolving." As they watched, the transformed Devourer ships began to move. But instead of the rigid, threatening formations they had used before, they now flowed like schools of fish, creating beautiful patterns in space. Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed through the communication system of every ship in the area. "We live." The council members looked at each other in shock. "Is that?" the chair began. "Dr. Vex," the science officer exclaimed. "But how?" The voice continued, now accompanied by a shimmering hologram that appeared on the bridge. It showed Zara, but changed. Her form flickered between her original alien appearance and something more. "We are Zora," the being said. "But we are also the Devourers, and we are humanity. We have become." As the council members struggled to understand, Zara, but not Zara, explained. The Nexus, powered by the ancient human technology, and Zora's sacrifice, had not destroyed the Devourers. Instead, it had forced them to evolve, to remember what they had been before their endless hunger consumed them. "We were explorers once," Zara's voice said, tinged with the echoes of countless others. "We traveled the stars, seeking knowledge. But we grew afraid of death, of ending. We sought to consume all, to become eternal. We forgot our purpose, our joy." The hologram shifted, showing flashes of the Devourer's past, great ships of exploration, peaceful contacts with alien species, the wonder of discovery. Dr. Vex reminded us. The voice continued. Her mind, filled with humanity's legacy of curiosity and sacrifice, showed us another way. We have evolved beyond our hunger. We remember our purpose. As Zara spoke, the transformed devourer ships began to change again. They merged, forming structures of impossible beauty, vast space stations, research outposts, and ships designed for exploration rather than destruction. We offer our knowledge, our technology, to all, Zora said. Let us heal the wounds we have caused. Let us explore the cosmos together. The council members were stunned. Centuries of fear, preparations for war, all washed away in a moment of transcendent change. The Zorlak chair was the first to find his voice. We accept your offer, with gratitude. As the council began to discuss the implications of this cosmic shift, the ascended humans approached the newly evolved beings. There was a moment of silent communion, a meeting of minds beyond anything biological beings could comprehend. Then, to everyone's surprise, the ascended humans began to change. They descended, taking physical form once more. They appeared as they had in their prime. A diverse group of bipedal beings, their eyes shining with ancient wisdom and renewed purpose. One of them stepped forward, smiling. We too have been reminded of something we had forgotten. The joy of touching the physical world, of experiencing life in all its messy glory. The human turned to the council. We offer ourselves as well, not as gods or rulers, but as teachers, explorers, friends. The galaxy is vast, and there is so much yet to discover. As the council chambers erupted in excited discussion, Zora's voice spoke one last time. This is humanity's true legacy. Not weapons or power, but the drive to explore, to learn, to grow. And most importantly, to share that growth with others. The transformed devourers, the returned humans, and the galactic community began to mingle, sharing stories and plans for the future. A new age of exploration and cooperation was dawning. And somewhere, in the cosmic dance of energy and matter, the essences of Zara, her brave team, and the faithful I Adam lived on, forever part of the grand tapestry of the universe they had saved.